guess it's sweeping time. That's right, because the Tampa Bay Lightning have swept the Florida Panthers in the second round for the second year in a row that they have played against each other in the playoffs. The first two times they've ever played in the playoffs, and the Florida Panthers have been swept both times by the Lightning. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, yes, the Florida Panthers has been swept for the second time in 2 years of the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Lightning, the defending back-to-back champs, have won another game, another series, another game-clinching series-clinching game by Vasilevsky. Sorry, shouldn't touch the table there. For Vasilevsky, and a shutout. And the only other one, 6 out of 7 times, he has gotten a shutout. And the one time that wasn't, the one time it wasn't, was 1 goal, and that was in Maple Leaf series, which I think everyone knows. But I think a better way to put that is Vasilevsky in his last 7 games clinching series clinching games, one has only allowed 1 goal. That's a scarier way to put it. Now, I didn't see all of Game 4. I saw the third period. I got home and I didn't have time to watch the whole thing, but there wasn't a whole lot to see, really, because the first goal, unfortunate first goal, is what led to the Panthers' demise. But really, it kind of sums up their entire playoffs runs. Really, is that they're so great in the first round, in this season, and then they're unable to score a goal in 1 game. They scored 3 goals in the entire series. That is not acceptable. That is unacceptable, especially because they're the team I picked to win in my bracket, the Stanley Cup. I should have known better, because the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to do it again. I wouldn't be surprised. They're my pick now to win. I think that this series, they have just solidified that they're going to win the championship again. There's no way. Because no matter whoever comes out, also Florida. That's why I'm wearing this. I've got a palm tree. There it is. I talked about it last time, I think. But anyways, yeah. So the Lightning are going. It doesn't matter. The Hurricanes or the Rangers, whoever wins in that series, it's not going to matter. If the Rangers try to move on, they're going to try to play. Each team is going to try to play like the skill game against them, and they're just too good on defense and their goaltender, and then they have the offense to punish you with. They have every piece to the puzzle to win everything. Because a team like Colorado, who does have all the pieces as well, have their problems defensively, because all of their defense is built to be offensive. So if you're able to play in their zone, they're screwed, and that showed up in today's game against the Blues. But anyways, so we're talking about Tampa Bay here. Tampa Bay and Florida. Why did Florida lose this series? I'm going to break it. So this series was lost because of Florida's stubbornness and ineptitude. I think that's a good word for it. To be able to change their strategies, to change up the way they play, to actually produce some offense. They were I know the power play is what's going to be the dead horse out of all of this, but their power play is what absolutely killed them. They completely crapped the bed, like Amber Heard, in this series. And Tampa Bay is Johnny Depp, because they always win. Anyways, they were unable to drive any offense from the power play, which I know everyone is going to talk about. That's not something I need to say, because we already know this. But I being the coach that I would like to be, I want to break this down a little bit. So this is Florida's power play here. This is their setup, and this is a problem already. They're focusing on shots from the point, to drive rebounds. Or what they're trying to do, I don't know. They just didn't do anything successfully on the power play. Like, there was not one power play to show, like, oh, their power play worked, their strategies worked. It never happened. Because what happened, is their strategy is in that. Okay, so this is the final power play in the last, like, what was it, 4 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever. Yeah, last 2 minutes in like 12 seconds. What happened is this is their setup. Their strategy is to move the puck. So let's just say this is the defense here, right? Their strategy, which I think we all know, is to move the puck between these guys from the point here and then find that open lane for a good shot. So this person will squeeze in deep, and then these two will come out. We know the drill, right? You know what's coming. So what happened, though, is that the one time their power play kind of worked on that last shift is when was it Drew? It was Drew. Yeah, it was Drew up here. The pass from here to Drew, he shot it, and it caused all this craziness up here, and they're all crashing the net. And unfortunately, the puck just doesn't go in the back of the net, right? Now, it finally worked that once. I mean, they didn't score, but they finally broke through the defense. You know why? Because they got a shot on net, and then they drove the craziness. The problem is that their setup here is that their guys are always up on the top of the dots. You want to see the difference between why their power play is bad, and St. Louis's and Tampa's is great, is because instead of this, what they do is they have the two guys up here, and then the guys here, guy here, and guy here, where they'll find their path to get a pass down here to the middle, and then this guy crashes in, and they cause controversy up here, and then maybe squeak something through. That's their strategy. And when you know that, what's going to happen is that draw, especially when it's so infamous like theirs, or famous, I guess infamous is a bad thing, is that these defensemen are going to know that the play's coming, which will then leave a lane open over here for this guy to pass it, and then it's the same thing. It works perfectly. Florida's is just, it is everything wrong. And then they couldn't learn. They didn't learn how to recover. So when they finally, in the final minutes, got something going for them, instead of trying the shot from Giroux again to the net, instead, they kept trying to do, so what they wanted to happen is that they wanted to get the puck to this guy, right? And get a pass over here for the one-timer. The problem, especially in regular season, it's fine because people aren't like trying to kill themselves to save the game. The problem here is that you're playing also the best defensive team, which everyone forgets, in Tampa Bay, with the best goaltender included. They got the best sale that you can get. Is that Tampa Bay? They know what's coming, and in that final play, all their sticks are in this lane here, and when they kept trying to pass it across, they were almost set up in a line. It was like they made a wall to separate the ice, so when you can go see. It was like they had a wall here, and they were just ready, and then they sent it down. Plot comes out of the bench and goes and scores the empty net. Florida was unable to learn from their mistakes. That's it. Florida was unable to try to adapt. And Bobrovsky played great this game. There was no real bad games for anybody. You know, there was no bad games. Tampa Bay is just so everything. They're so everything. They've got everything that you could ask for in a team. They have got the strong defense. They've got the Vasilevsky, Tocchet said it, is the best goalie of all time. I don't care what anybody says. I used to not think that. I used to think that he was wasn't overrated, but maybe a slight bit overrated. But watching him lately in the last couple of years, I was like, oh my gosh. He is the best goalie. There's hands down. He just stops everything. And when the game is on the line, which Tampa Bay rarely needs to worry about, that is when he shuts it down even more. It's incredible. Tocchet's, I'm going to do a video on this, but Tocchet's, not about Tocchet, but my own Mount Rushmore goalies. He has Berger and stuff. Like, they are great, but Vasilevsky is just so quick. He is the definition of when they call goalies a cat. He is a cat in the crease. It is insane what he's able to do and how he's able to shut everything down no matter what happens. But okay, so since I didn't watch most of the game, which is I apologize for, I'm just gonna give my predictions, and I mean I already went over why they lost. So why did Tampa Bay win? They just played their game. They didn't even seem to be pushed. You know what I mean? They didn't even seem rattled. They didn't look like they were even trying. This looked like practice to them. They kind of looked sluggish almost. They looked slow and tired, which they probably are, but this team is just unrelenting. They are so good, and they're going. And I don't even know how this. I don't even know how I have this jersey. I mean, I know how I got it, but it's just whatever. It's lucky that I have it. But they are. This is a great logo. So lucky to be in this position that they're in, because they're going on. They're going to be able to face. I think the Rangers are going to win. As much as I can't stand the freaking Rangers, I think the Rangers are going to pull out, and they're going to win it. And then I think they're going to get stomped on by the Lightning, which I think is who they played in 2015 when they went to the finals. And this is red because this is supposed to be like Florida, but I don't have a Florida jersey. But yeah, which thank you so much, T. I'll call you T. You're probably not watching this, but whatever. I'm sorry. Tampa Bay they've just got everything. They've got everything. Even when their offense doesn't score, their defense and their goaltender are always there to back them up. And they always give them a chance. Bobrovsky was not the problem this series. The problem wasn't any single person's. It was a team's problem, and the team's fault was that they couldn't produce anything. They could not produce anything. They were not they just weren't doing anything right. They looked like they never had momentum. They never had anything. They just had nothing going for them. They looked tired and gassed, and they just never seemed to really try to push the mountain. Every once in a while they did, but they just never tried, and they never seemed to have that grit. And maybe this is because maybe this is their Tampa Bay story, where Tampa had to get swept by Columbus. Maybe this is their story. They got swept 2 years in a row by the Lightning. Maybe next year is when all of the guys step it up, and they're going to just tear house down, and then they're going to win the Stanley Cup 4 years in a row. Because I mean, just looking off the two teams, I mean, Kucherov versus Barkov I would take. You take Stamkos versus Huberdeau. I would probably take Huberdeau, but Stamkos is a better goal scorer. What am I talking about? My prediction is that the Lightning are going to go on to win. They're going, as long as they play their game, and if and when they run into the Colorado Avalanche, they're going. I think Colorado is just out of the. Colorado seems to be stopped. Never mind. I'll talk about that later. I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. I'm flustered because I'm angry. But yeah, I'm very shocked that this series ended the way it did. Florida is going to need to come back next season. They're actually going to need to have fire beneath them. I don't know how someone like Joe Thornton, unfortunately, who doesn't win this Stanley Cup again, I don't know how they don't get riled up over this type of stuff. Because I wasn't like a nobody on my team, but I wasn't the top star or anything close. But I had that fire that was okay, let's do this, boys. And they don't seem to have that in them. They don't have that. Andrew Burnett, I think that's his name, needs to maybe he did, but he needed to go into the locker room and just yell the hell out of them. He needed to whip them into shape and scare them into playing. If you're not going to win, if you don't score goals, I'm going to find you. He needed to sit down with them and talk, and he never did. And the series unfortunately boils down to like what could have been the best series in the whole thing turns out to be another dud. So that's really all I have to say. So I guess if you enjoyed watching this video, please please pick up your free subscription down below by hitting that red subscribe button, the same color as this broom that they swept them away with. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up. That's the like button, not a thumbs down. Or leave a thumbs down. I don't care. Maybe that makes people more interested in it. Leave a thumbs down. I dare you to. And then leave any comments, congestions, concerns, reviews, feedback, rants, and opinions down below in the comment section. And answer this to me. Are you surprised that the Florida Panthers lost in a sweep? Or, you know what, answer me this. Do you think, are you more surprised that the Florida Panthers lost in a sweep? Or that the Tampa Bay Lightning beat the Panthers in a sweep? It's like the same question, but it's an interesting question. It's interesting. I'd be interested to know. So thank you for watching, and until next time, I have been the party. Thank you for watching. Ta-ta for now.